Hello and welcome to the Crypto Masters podcast, helping the general public to master an understanding of crypto assets. My name is Brian McCoy.
My name is Ross Eaton.
And we are the Crypto
Masters.
All right, we are remote this week, as is probably obvious from our lack of synchronization there.
Nice synchronization there.
All right, Ross, the topic of today's episode is Quant. And this is not people who use computers to decide which stonks to buy and sell. They're also called quants. But it's a very cool crypto asset. And its goal is bridging blockchains. Teaser, teaser, teaser. Hey, as a quick reminder, our goal here at the Crypto Masters is to provide information about crypto assets to help the public decide if it's something they might want to invest in and do their own research on. The information that we provide here is not focused on short-term price movements, so we're not for short-term traders.
Absolutely, Brian. And we provide information to allow you, the listener, to make your own financial decision. This is not financial advice.
Good point.
Yeah, we want to empower you. So there you go.
All right, Ross. In previous podcasts, we have discussed several different crypto coins that utilize different blockchains. We almost always pointed out Bitcoin has its own blockchain. Ethereum has its own blockchain. Cardano has its own blockchain. EOS has its own blockchain.
I'm seeing a trend here.
Yes. What Quant aims to do is bridge the gap between the various blockchains. So that is a cool goal.
Absolutely. And, the foundation or backbone of this Quant project is an operating system called the Overledger Network.
I am your Overledger.
Moving on, Quant believes that the Overledger Network is the ecosystem on which the future digital economy ecosystem will be built. That's a mouthful, Brian.
Yeah.
And if that statement doesn't get you hyped up, I don't know what to tell you.
Yes, we are talking big goals here.
This is big boy room.
Something key in what you said, Ross, is that it's an operating system for blockchains and not a blockchain. So that's interesting. It is an ERC20 token that we've talked about before, meaning that it's on the Ethereum blockchain, but with Quant, it doesn't matter. It's blockchain agnostic. So what it does, it sits on top of blockchains, and it allows them to connect and interoperate, so in other words, operate with each other, no matter what consensus mechanism. So, you can take one with a proof of work and one with a proof of stake and still can allow for interoperation. It doesn't matter if they're permissioned or permissionless. So, we normally talk about, on this podcast, we talk about permissionless blockchains, but there are permissioned blockchain. IBM has some. Basically, private companies can have their own blockchain. This also allows that, and Quant does work with not only in what I would call the crypto sector that we think of as decentralized, but also with private companies and banks and finance companies. So it works with both, and it even says that its ability to bridge blockchains will apply to future blockchain developments. So again, very, very lofty statements. And it does it in a very general way, similar to the way that TCP works with websites on the internet. And I don't know the details of that, but it used the ideas and concepts from that, which was, fundamental in allowing the World Wide Web to be what it is today, and it's used those and applied it into this setting, and it seems to work. So that's a simplified explanation. They're really There are several layers to Quant and how it works, but the bottom line is that the Overledger allows a gateway for people and companies to use existing and future blockchains and interoperate. And that is a big, huge step in the crypto space. Again, it says it wants to be the network of networks. And one thing, Ross, before I turn it back over to you, lately, you know, we've heard a lot about CBDCs, which are central bank, you know, digital coins or digital tokens. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we know China has one coming out. They're already test running it. There are a couple of Caribbean nations, maybe Bermuda, maybe another one. But, you know, everybody's talking about it. And the U.S. has even said, you know, we're going to take our time, but they're indicating they're going to have a central bank issued digital currency. And the Quant community thinks that its product, that its platform will be used or useful and can be used by these central banks. So that could be huge.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, sorry, Ross, that was a mouthful, but I kind of wanted to lay some background on it. One thing that I saw about Quant is it uses MApps. You know, we've talked about DApps, and you can talk about it again this evening, but it uses MApps. So what is that, and what does that mean in this?
Oh, absolutely, Brian. So I first want to lay a foundation, if you're just tuning in, what a DApp is, and then we'll branch out to maps. But a DApp is just a decentralized application, and that sounds very intimidating, but it's not. It's, I mean, it could be something as simple as a website or a mobile app, but it really just runs in a decentralized peer-to-peer fashion. So, for example, Google, that search engine runs on Google servers. Facebook, that site runs on Facebook servers. And that's just a normal, you know, application on the web. A decentralized application runs on, you know, it's a peer-to-peer connection. I have a computer mining away, you have a computer mining away, and we're processing these transactions all together in a decentralized fashion. So that's what a DApp is. Now we're moving on to a map. So a map goes a tad further, and a map, of course, stands for a decentralized multi-chain application. And I just mixed up the words there. I would say a multi-chain decentralized application. That's the right word there.
The app.
The app.
Or maybe MD app, or maybe MDAP.
MDAP. But we'll go with map from here on out for this podcast.
MDAP. Little Hanson came out, sorry.
I love the doo-wops, Brian. But yeah, this is huge. This means it can run on multiple decentralized platforms. So, I mean, you take this decentralized thing and now it can run decentralized on decentralized, you know, on anything. So that's huge, Brian. I mean, this could...
Isn't this current, like the status quo? I mean, what I always thought was a developer develops, you know, uses Solidity or the language for Ethereum and creates their DApp, and it can be used on Ethereum. It can't be used on other chains. I mean, isn't that sort of the standard? And then now this Quant is allowing something completely different.
Yeah. So, for example, you could have a map that utilizes aspects of the Ethereum blockchain and the Cardano blockchain, and they can communicate with each other within this map. But yeah, this is crazy stuff, Brian, and it's kind of where a lot of people are going right now. You know,
this seems huge. It just seems like a big breakthrough. But anyway, yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's going to be a huge thing. It's a huge thing in software. Like, you know, you have your program, which is cool. I've got my program, which is cool. Or, you know, our two applications. And how are these going to connect? How are these going to sync up? How am I going to use one part of yours, which I like, and integrate it with my app? And, you know, interoperability is huge. So this is, you know, obviously solving some huge problems.
And you know, we've talked about interoperability on some of our other platforms. And
Yeah.
I've never heard it to this extent, like with respect to D apps. I never really pictured that. So to me, so I guess the M apps or MD apps, anyway, that just seems like a big development. So that is
Oh, yeah.
definitely worth looking into further. All right, so let's take a
Absolutely.
look at the token and the tokenomics. We talked about Quant. It does have its own token, and it's QNT. All right, QNT is its token. And I'm just going to get right into it on the tokenomics. No inflation, and no more QNT tokens will be issued. So let that sink in.
Oh, I'm
And there's
letting it
more.
sink in.
But wait, there's more, as
Oh,
they would say
okay.
in commercials. Yeah. But it's actually deflationary because it has lockups. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But, you don't get many tokens. We all love Bitcoin and it's 21 million max. And we're at 18 million, but there's still 3 million to go. With Quant, there's none. There's 0 to go. And as I understand it, it's a hard cap. So anyway, as far as tokenomics go, it doesn't get much better than that. All right,
Absolutely.
so the QNT is the utility token. So to be able to use the platform, the developers, the gateway operators, the enterprises, whoever's going to use the Quant platform, they have to purchase annual license, which is a little bit different, a little bit interesting. And again, another twist, they can pay the licenses in fiat, which in the Quant treasury converts to the equivalent amount of Quant. And so I think that's just better for their enterprises. I'm just going to say an example. Say IBM wants to use it. IBM doesn't want to mess with, getting on an exchange and buying Quant, which we'll talk about in a minute also, which isn't as easy as you think. So they're making it easy by allowing him to use fiat. But anyway, then Quant or the Quant treasury will convert that into the number of QNT, and then the amount that's purchased for the annual license is locked up in a layer 2 payment channel for 12 months or whatever period it is, but I think normally it's a year. So that reduces the circulating supply, reduces token velocity, which is turnover of tokens, which is also good for price increases in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've got those factors going in. In addition to the licenses, there will be some other platform fees, some other services that's paid in Quant. So all these things that are adding to the demand for the QNT token. So Ross, I would say this seems to be very, very solid as far as tokenomics go for Quant.
Oh, absolutely. I just hear quant signs, sub dollar signs. I don't know. I'm working here.
You have Quant signs in your eyes.
Yes. So yeah, real quick, let's talk about the team and partnerships. One of those partnerships is with SIA Chain. But first, who is SIA? Quoting from SIA's website, they're a European-based company involved in the creation and management of technology infrastructures and services for financial institutions, central banks, corporates, and the public sector in areas of card and merchant solutions, digital payment solutions, and capital market and network solutions. So tons of banking and finance stuff going on with that one. But SIA has their own private blockchain called SIA Chain, and they're having some issues. They said, Quant, help us out. So with the help of the Quant network, SIA Chain successfully integrated, thus enabling SIA Chain's communication with other blockchains going forward. And this was previously SIA was unable to do this. So I think with the help of Quant, obviously they made this happen, and it's good news for anyone in the private sector that's got their own blockchain and want to kind of integrate with other areas and other blockchains out there. And I'll obviously link SIA that company's website in the description below if you want to check out more.
Yeah.
But moving on to the team, we've got Gilbert Veridian, the CEO of Quant. Get a good look at this guy. I like his glasses, but has tons of industry experience. Worked with huge companies. I feel like he was chief information security officer at half of the companies he worked for. I'll link his LinkedIn down below if you want to check out all those. But just to rattle off a few, he worked for the Federal Reserve, PwC. Shout out PwC. I used to work there. And before starting at Quant, just to mention one of the chief information security officers, it was at VocaLink, which is a MasterCard company, and essentially he was managing UK payments for MasterCard, which that's like $6 trillion a year. So he's used to working with just a bit of money, you could say. And next we got Martin Hargreaves is chief product officer, 12 years of experience at VocaLink. Getting my links and chains mixed up here, Brian. He was also the vice president of product. Actually co-authored, this was pretty interesting. Just looking into him. He co-authored a paper with this guy from MIT about this new internet protocol called ODAP. I'll link that. I got a lot of links, Brian, but I'll link that in the description as well if you want to check out that paper. But very, very cool idea. It's basically a protocol is similar to TCP connections. So just make it, that's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but at the end of the day, it would just make it very easy, standardized and efficient way to basically describe assets on a ledger and send assets between blockchains. So, yeah.
All right. Well, sounds good. Yeah, I've seen this. The Gilbert Veridian seems to be kind of the face of the project. I think it's based out of London, but I've seen him on, he gets interviewed a lot. It's sort of like Charles Hoskinson for Cardano. He's kind of the face of Quant. But yeah, it seems to be a very, very competent team. Yeah, all right, so absolutely. Let's say you do your research and you want to buy some QNT. Where do you buy it? Well, you know what? It's a good question. It is listed on some exchanges, such as Uniswap. Okay, that's legit. I mean, people get on Uniswap. Problem now is the high gas fees is I think caused some people to look for other alternatives. There's not many for QNT. It is on Bittrex and it is on Hotbit, but it's almost a mystery. Why isn't this thing on Binance? Why doesn't Binance list QNT? Binance lists everything, I thought, it doesn't have this on it. Yeah. But it's also not on the major ones. It's not even, it's not on Coinbase. It's not on Kraken. It's not on eToro. So you sort of got to dig a little deep to get it. So anyways, seems to be a, what was it? I think you checked out. We don't like to date our podcast, but as of the date of this podcast, it was a little bit outside the top 100, wasn't it?
Yep. It's on this recording day, it's been floating around number 100 market cap. So
right around 100. But seems to check all the boxes for a good project. I just don't know why it's not on a major exchange. But hey. I'm sure they're trying their best to get on one.
Really?
Yeah. Ross, did you have anything else? Do you want to add? You want to get on to final thoughts?
I say final thoughts time, Brian. I think we hit all the key aspects.
Whose turn is it to go first on final thoughts?
Shoot, I'll go ahead. Yeah.
Brian. All right, because it does seem like you always seem to copy me, so that would be good if you go ahead. No, we actually disagreed on our last show. That was interesting. All right, yes. Go ahead, Ross. Final thoughts on Quant.
Yeah, I like the team. I like what they're doing. I may favor some other blockchains trying to do similar things like Polkadot with their integration. But the idea is sound and solid and sounds epic. And seeing it this low, I will say, Brian, full disclosure, I will be investing in it for two factors, which you just mentioned. One, it's not listed on a lot of exchanges, and the market cap is just so low. I mean, I could see this thing just exploding if it gets on Binance or Coinbase Pro or something like that. So I'm always surprised to see, something of this magnitude that low in market cap. One thing I don't feel great about is just the tech itself is patented. So, it's trade secret. They're not going to release all that's going on. And one cool thing I love about getting in to cryptocurrencies is, the decentralized peer-to-peer nature of these things. So just kind of worried about, that aspect, and, it just heavily the weight of this thing heavily weighs on the team. So I'm investing just because of the low market cap and it's not listed, and worried about the team.
All right. You're worried about the team, or you like the team?
Oh, so I like the team, but I'm worried about the trade secret nature, the non-decentralized.
It's not public source. Okay.
Yes, open source. Yes, there you go.
It's not open source.